What is up, YouTube? It's Coffee back at it, and check it out, man. When it comes to doctors, pain management, painkillers, maintenance drugs, scams, Medicaid scams, health insurance scams, I've heard of all kinds of different ish, but I'm hearing of something that I've truly never heard of, and I need to hear from everyone out there if you've heard of this before. As my little dive into it, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't do crazy research on it, but it just blew my mind. It sounded like the most insane ish I ever heard of. We'll just go right off top with the headline here. A Richmond, Virginia doctor who has a pain management clinic called Healing Hands has been indicted, arrested, and charged with 26 charges, all kinds of frauds and stuff like that. But the part that really blew my mind and I had me like, what the fuck is this about, is he said he was injecting patients with ozone gas. Now check it out, I've shared with people on the channel numerous times. I have an autoimmune sickness. I've been on all kinds of pain meds, maintenance meds, Suboxone, and this, that, and the third. The list goes on and on. I've tried kratom. I've heard of kratom and other, quote unquote, alternative treatments and stuff like that. And I just got to make it clear, I'm not advocating for any of this stuff, for saying what's good, what's bad, or none of that. I'm just saying, never have I heard of ozone gas injections being the thing, or a thing that anyone is doing for pain management reasons, or for any reasons, that is. Now, I know at the end of the day, the US of A and big FARMA always got to get paid. They line the pockets of the right individuals to push things through, and the medical business is just that, a business. In some countries it's a business, but it's less of a business than it is in countries like the US of A. But I'm getting a bit off topic. My point that I'm making is just from talking to people from other places, from here, there, everywhere, I've never in my life heard of this. Now, with just a quick bit of half-ass internet research, I got some here that says what to know about the benefits, and risks of ozone therapy, right? It says ozone therapy is a controversial alternative med practice that involves using ozone gas to fight disease. Currently, there is not enough evidence to conclude it is effective or safe for med use. Then there's something else here that says research indicates that ozone therapy has potential to encourage your body's exosomes to move to the treatment area where they can work to promote healing, reduce painful joint inflammation, kill harmful invasive molecules such as fungi, bacteria, and viruses. So it's very controversial. It's not approved in the US of A. I don't know if it is anywhere. Again, I've never heard of this. Like, this is blowing my mind. Ozone gas. How do they get it, put it in tanks, and people are shooting it up like they're banging up some dog food or something? Like, what in the world is going on? And this doctor faces 26 charges. So check it out. The doctor's name is Jawad Body, right? And apparently, allegedly, this has been going on since from back in like 2020. He faces 26 charges related to healthcare fraud after reports claim he subjected patients to unapproved ozone gas treatments and requested over $5.2 million in government reimbursements. The Richmond Times reported on this a while back. Allegations of malpractice from patients and employees, and he was charged with healthcare fraud, making false statements related to healthcare matters, receiving adulterated and misbranded devices, and administering misbranded drugs. And it's crazy too, when it comes to this ozone stuff, there's a warning right on this ozone device when it's purchased, right? I guess it's a German device, as it's not FDA approved or none of that, right? And right on it, it says, quote, by purchasing the Ozone device, I understand this is not an medical device, and I will not represent it as one, nor state that by using the Ozone device treats or cures any DISEASE, and the Ozone device is not therapy. But despite lack of the approval, that warning that, I guess, I don't know, when you buy it, if you're signing something or it's just letting you know that that's the deal, that it's just not recognized as a legitimate thing. This dude was using this and, advertising online and stuff like that, that there's all kinds of benefits from this therapy, that it could treat the big C, AIDS, and all other kind of bodily functions. Now, seriously, everyone, have you heard of this before? Is this doctor just a quack, or is this just some stuff that's not recognized here? I need to know. I just couldn't believe this. Like, ozone gas shot up in people's bodies. In addition to ozone devices, it has been alleged that Batty injected ozone directly into his patients, employees, friends, and family from 2020 to 23. Certain injections would be ozone by itself, while others would be allegedly a mix of ozone and lidocaine, which everyone knows, lidocaine is like basically a numbing agent. So was he shooting people up with it, and they'd be like, oh, it's numb for a minute, I feel better, this did wonders for my joint, and then 20-30 minutes later, when it wears off, they're in horrible pain, because they say that people were complaining of having terrible pain, worse than ever, at the injection sites. Like, this just sounds so crazy to me. And then again, it's not something that I've ever heard of. Now, I do indeed know, like, where you're at, where I'm at, if we're in different cities, I mean, our browser search history, what kind of content we take in, you get all different kind of ads and things like that. But I'm just saying, from country to country, there's certain things that, like, if over in your country, right, that's different from mine, certain treatments are recognized that aren't here. The type of literature and reports that'll come up when you research it will be totally different. But I've just truly never heard of this in my life, so what do you guys think? Is this guy just a quack, or have you heard of someone doing this ish before, and like, this guy's just trying to bring some groundbreaking ish that isn't recognized yet to the people, or what? I mean, what do you think? And again, we're just talking here, you know what I mean? This is a touchy subject. You got to be very careful. I'm not advocating anything. I'm just like, where in the fuck is this coming from? Shooting people up with ozone gas. You got to be out of your goddamn mind, is my initial reaction. Where were we at? Oh, several patients. So we already said that, where they talked about how much pain they had, the worst pain they ever experienced. And in the indictment, there's someone else that described symptoms ranging from seizures and vomiting to migraines and temporary loss of vision. The indictment said that while a search warrant was issued in 2020, resulting in Batty allegedly halting ozone injections for patients, he was allegedly still using devices on himself as well as friends and family until 2023. So he was giving it to himself and friends and family. He must believe in this shit in some way or something like that, right? Like, what the fuck, man? I swear, man, from someone who, like I said, guys, pain, treatments, just all this horrible shit. I know too much about it. I'm not glorifying it. Anyone who rocks with the channel, you know that I hate this shit. Even though I have conditions and stuff like that, I still wish I never took this shit in my life. You know what I mean? I wish I would have went the alternative route and just stayed in better shape. And honestly, at some point in time, I wish I could just kick all this shit and get back normal. You know what I mean? It's doable. It's just so many of us are trying to grind life out and got to pay the bills and got to take care of our families. And, you know, you don't got a couple months to just be sick as fuck or whatever the case may be to get over it all. But this is pretty crazy. This guy allegedly was giving it to himself and his friends, aside from patients. You know what I mean? They had a search warrant back in 2020, so he stopped giving it to the people there, but was still giving it to himself and his friends, allegedly. I don't know what to make of this. The indictment said, as part of the healthcare fraud charges, Body has been accused of submitting false claims to Medicaid and Medicare about the treatments, which included billing them as a nerve block injections or requesting that employees accept cash from patients instead of billing the insurance companies. And there's, you can go on Pacer and pull up the whole Fed indictment or whatever, all the paperwork with it. Here's someone posting about it on a social network. Unsolicited advice for the day: if you go to the doctor and his name's Jawad Body, just leave. And then there's a little excerpt from an article saying, as first reported by the Richmond Times Dispatch, following allegations of malpractice from patients and employees, Jawad Body was charged with healthcare fraud, making false statements related to healthcare matters, receiving adulterated and misbranded devices, and administering misbranded drugs. So there you have it. A pretty groundbreaking story, if you ask me, shooting up ozone gas. Not a lot of info out about this case or about this alleged treatment, as we'll call it. Once again, you got to be careful with this big FARMA stuff. But man, I don't know. I just have never heard that one before. So stay tuned for the updates. Thank you again for tuning in. And once again, I've heard of all kinds of doctors doing all kinds of shady things, or some doctors trying to work around the rules and dealing with insurance companies and find ways to help people with ish. But this stuff is just like uncharted territory here when it comes to me. But anyone out there, if you know anything else about this, let's talk about it. Subscribe. Get with y'all on the next video. Peace.